Good evening. Oh, come on. Good evening. People act like you don't have something to celebrate out there. So, thank you, Dean Ramos. To the Duke administrators, members of the faculty, family, friends, and distinguished guests, thank you for having me. To all the moms that are with us here today, happy Mother's Day. And to our graduates, fellow nurses, congratulations. And I hope that you would please indulge me for just a moment, or allow me, in my official capacity, on behalf of the 4.3 million registered nurses represented by the American Nurses Association, and on behalf of our constituent and state nurses association across the country, to welcome you to the greatest profession in the world. Thank you for that indulgence and for that point of deep personal privilege. You know, being here with you today, with your family, your friends, professors, and school administrators and staff, is one of the best parts of my job. But as you know, over the past 2 years, out of dire necessity, it has not been possible to gather for this important purpose. Now, I'm all for technology and what it can do to help keep us connected. I see the great promise of telehealth, and I want to see us get the most out of it. But when it comes to commencement ceremonies, the virtual, distant, and remote experience feels exactly that way to me. It doesn't hold a candle to joining you in person, feeling your energy, and basking in the reflected glory of your accomplishments. And it doesn't compare to being right here to welcome you to the fold and to help launch your professional journey in nursing. I've missed that, so I'm really thrilled to be here with you today. And despite the lingering uncertainties about where this pandemic is now and where it's going and when it will end, I'm ready to let the hope and the promise of the day take center stage. You know, the last 26 months have tested us on so many levels, but we have confronted this crisis with grit, resilience, kindness, and embracing a common spirit of being in this together. The head of one of our ANA state affiliate put it best when she said, "I've been a nurse for more than 40 years, and I've never experienced what is happening to us right now. They're exhausted, they're tired, but they keep showing up." The pandemic has been rough on all of us. And when I say us, I know that I'm talking about you as well. In the midst of a global pandemic and facing the demands of nursing school, the Doosan community has also suffered the loss of a promising student. I'd like to take a moment to echo Dean Ramos' sentiment and extend my sincere condolences to Carol's family, who I met this afternoon, and friends. May you find solace in your beautiful memories of Carol. And graduates, may you carry her with you in your hearts and make her proud as you enter the profession that will forever connect you. Nursing school has never been a walk in the park. It's challenging, it's rigorous, but in your case, COVID-19 took that challenge and the rigors to new levels. I doubt that there has ever been a graduate class of nursing students who have entered their professional career with the crisis experience and the trial by fire that you have endured over the course of your nursing education. And as you begin your careers, you have already very much a part of the reason that nursing is the greatest profession, which I say often and with much pride. But when I say it is the most trusted profession, I have evidence to back that up. When I first took office 3 years ago, the Gallup organization had just released the results of its annual poll on the most honest and ethical professions. And nursing occupied the #1 spot as the profession Americans trusted the most for the 17th year in a row. And I remember thinking to myself, as I had just assumed office, Don't let this streak end when I'm leading this organization. Well, of course, I had nothing to worry about. As I come to the end of my term, America's nurses have come through. Earlier this year, the Gallup poll announced that nursing was again the most trusted profession, this time for the 20th year in a row. So the streak is still alive, and of course, I deserve none of the credit. This is a hard-earned and well-deserved reputation that is built on years of professional nurses doing what they do every day of their lives. And over the last 3 years, they showed how much they deserve every bit of the trust that Americans have placed in them year after year. Nurses have tested over and over and over again during the pandemic. But they rose to the immense challenge of an unprecedented global health crisis. They did so with pride, with skill, and with compassion, and, I might add, with enormous courage. And for that, I have never been prouder than I am today to call myself a nurse. But you know, you cannot gloss over the reality that you are beginning your own journey at a difficult time of our profession. The COVID-19 pandemic has lifted the veil of a broad range of challenges that nurses face in our efforts to provide expert, compassionate care to patients. Yes, but also to help shape healthcare policy, to advocate for resources, and to serve their communities by making them safer and healthier places for people to live. In my opinion, all of these are an important part of what nurses do and what they should do. To redouble our efforts to address this challenge, nurses need to be the ones who drive the solutions in our profession, within health systems, in public policy making, and beyond. And I am here today to challenge you to become part of that effort, to always think how you can advance the health of people, families, communities, and the world at large. To always look at ways to draw upon the values instilled within you as a part of your nursing education and make a positive impact on public health. To seize every opportunity to learn, grow, and better the lives of your patients, the conditions at your workplace, or the profession of nursing. It may sound daunting, but it's really not. Not for you. Not when you are a part of a profession that already has a wellspring of trust and faith to draw upon. I'm talking about the power of nursing. And I want all of you to recognize this and to make this power part of your personal growth and career development as you progress along your journey. It begins with involvement, which leads to action and opens the door to leadership and impact. I wouldn't be telling you this if I hadn't experienced it for myself, and particularly how natural it felt to draw upon the power of nursing to make positive things happen. Here's an example. When I sat where you are sitting now, back in the prehistoric times, waiting for that speaker to stop talking so I could get my diploma and start the celebration, I didn't see many people who looked like me in our profession, let alone advancing into the leadership ranks. I wondered, how can I change that? I knew I couldn't do it on my own, but as I progressed in my own career, I saw the opportunities around me to push for that change and to make change start to happen. I found that I could leverage the trust and influence I was developing as a nurse, not only to knock down professional barriers that I had encountered along the way, but also to help change the societal attitudes and stereotypes that were keeping some of us from realizing our full potential. I saw opportunities to get involved and to speak out. I did this not only to help me and people like me and to extend my own horizons within the profession, but also to make the profession better, because it would truly reflect those who we cared for. It would make nursing better, and thereby help make us to be able to take better care for the patients. And in this, I saw opportunities to take action. Knowing how important it is to create fairness, promote diversity, and end persistent racism within our profession, I decided to make this a key priority in my presidency at ANA. Involvement, thank you. Involvement, which went into action, which went into leadership, but the job is not done. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed that racism continues to be a problem within our own ranks. The American Nurses Foundation, as a part of its COVID survey series, found that Black and Latinx nurses were more likely than their white colleagues to be in roles providing direct care to patients who were infected with COVID. And they were more than twice as likely to have been infected with the virus themselves. So we still have work cut out for us, but we will not rest. I want to give you another example of how my own experience in nursing led me to public advocacy. My career as a burn nurse gave me valuable experience in caring for some of the most vulnerable patients. Being a North Carolina native and having established my career here, I took notice of what was going on, not only in the hospital, but in the community, especially during my time working at the J.C. Burn Center at UNC Hospitals. Burns, of course, can be horrible, life-changing injuries to those who suffer them. This is especially the case with children. And I noticed, for example, that a lot of little kids were coming in with injuries that they sustained from fireworks. Well, it turns out that there was a loophole in the state law that effectively enabled anyone of any age to purchase fireworks. It was a no-brainer that eliminating that loophole, and specifically getting legislators to do that, could save a lot of horrible pain and misery. It could also save a lot of lives. I figured, who better than a burn nurse to take this on? Who better than someone who dealt with every day with the injuries that kids and the distraught parents had suffered? Who better than me? So I got involved. I helped to lobby the legislature. We made our case, and they updated the law to restrict sales to those 16 and older. And the rate of injury and death among the youngest kids dropped almost overnight. It's another example of involvement to action. But we didn't stop there. We worked in other burn-related areas as well to improve public policy and reduce suffering. I used my own expertise to move into leadership roles on a number of campaigns, mandating that water heaters be preset to safe temperatures that were labeled with information about preventing scalds, bringing fire safety and burn injury awareness programs into the schools, even dressing as Sparky the fire dog sometimes, and into our own senior communities. I took it further at the state level with the North Carolina Nurses Association and on a national scale with ANA. From involvement to action to leadership and to impact as well. I was able to help make a difference. Why? Because I am a nurse. Now I know what you're thinking. Much has changed since I sat where you are today with the internet, social media, and podcasts that did not even exist. And I fully understand how exhausting and discouraging it can be to swim against the riptide of disinformation and disharmony so that we too often experience when we try to keep people healthy and safe. Watching the cable news and the Twitterverse, what it does to medical science and public health and basic common sense can be excruciating, to say the least. But take heart, please. Yes, the world is changing, but you will find that what doesn't change fundamentally is the value of the trust that you will establish with your patients, your family members, and your communities. Let me repeat that. You will find that what doesn't change fundamentally is the value of the trust that you will establish with your patients and your family members and your communities. You can overcome the skeptics and the loudmouths and the troublemakers because you are a nurse. People will look to you not only for care and compassion, but for the unvarnished truth. You will find new and creative ways to leverage that trust and use it to influence the direction of healthcare and society at large, and in the most profound ways, particularly as you gain experience and confidence and as you pursue your vision of your own nursing career and the legacy that you want to leave. So I challenge you to begin by looking for ways to become involved. For starters, how about joining a professional organization, such as NCNA? I would be remiss if I didn't put that out there. Or if you're going to be working in another state, join that state association. That would be an ideal way to start finding pathways to pursue your interests, to become involved and influence in the public health matters, and to contribute your own experience, your own knowledge, and your own passion. We are a trusted resource of information and for the tools that you need to advance your careers. So as you transition to your professional life, make sure that ANA is a part of your future. And while you're at it, think about becoming more politically savvy. Go to town hall meetings and talk to politicians. Consider getting involved in political campaigns and using your activism to bring your nursing perspectives to the policy-making table. Get involved in the public schools or with public safety agencies like the Fire and Rescue, such as I did. Advocate for the profession, for health, and for those who we care for. Now, before I wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought. We are called to take care of patients, to give them care, and to guide them back to health. But we also need to take care of ourselves and one another. The emotional and mental health and well-being of our nursing colleagues has long been a key focus of the organization that I lead. But the recent pandemic has brought this issue into a whole new realm. It is common knowledge how tough COVID-19 has been for nurses and other healthcare workers, and the burnout and severe mental stress that so many have experienced. I can't stress this enough. Taking care of your own health, safety, and wellness is at the very heart of your mission to deliver quality patient care. At ANA, we focus on this as never before. We have prioritized initiatives like our Healthy Nurse, Healthy Nation program to help nurses build their own resilience. And recently, we have invigorated these efforts to help them manage the stress and overcome the trauma caused by COVID-19. So as you move into your careers, please keep this issue forefront in your mind. Stay aware of your own health and well-being. Look out for your colleagues and look out for our resources. You know, the Dalai Lama said, tragedy should be utilized as a source of strength. No matter what sort of difficulties, how painful the experience is, if we lose our hope, that's our real disaster. For hope to triumph, we as nurses need to be involved. That's my message to you. Each of you will find your own way to make your impact. You will make a difference. Because you have chosen to be a nurse, you have answered the call. You have worked hard to get here. You have persevered a once-in-a-century pandemic. You can do anything. And now, your journey begins, and I challenge you to go out there and make a difference. Thank you.